Her voice called from the trees, but she died last week. The film begins with a long take. A thick mist hangs over a dense jungle. Sunlight filters weakly through the tall trees. The camera is moving slowly through the foliage, revealing only glimpses of the overgrown vegetation. Vines and plants reach out like grasping claws toward the camera. We pass strange mushrooms and gnarled roots before coming to a clearing. And there, in the center of the frame, is a man. He's kneeling by a tree with his head thrown back, staring up into the branches above him. His face is pale, his eyes wide with terror. A low growl echoes through the trees and the man flinches. Suddenly, a ghostly figure begins to emerge from the trees. She's translucent, almost incorporeal, yet she moves with a disturbing grace. Her long, tangled hair flows around her like a living thing, and her mouth is open in a silent scream. The man continues to stare up at her in horror as she slowly descends from the tree. Her eyes glow faintly in the darkness, and she seems to beckon to the man with a finger. As she draws closer, we see that she is naked except for a necklace made of bones around her neck. The man reaches out to her, but his hand passes through her body. She reaches back and touches his face, and he collapses to his knees in fear. She walks through him and disappears into the undergrowth. The man screams, "No," as she vanishes. Then he looks back up at the trees in terror as the ghostly figure begins to climb back into the canopy. Her voice echoes through the forest, calling out to him. As she fades away, the title of the film appears on the screen. It reads, "Her voice called from the trees, but she died last week." The story takes place in a small village in the mountains. The villagers live in poverty and are superstitious. They believe that the mountains are home to all sorts of spirits and monsters. One day, a young woman named Leah moves to the village with her boyfriend Mark. Leah is an artist, and she's come to the village to paint the local scenery. Mark is a writer, and he's come to the village to get away from it all. The villagers are wary of Leah and Mark, and they soon begin to spread rumors about them. Some say that Leah is a witch, while others say that Mark is a demon. Despite the rumors, Leah and Mark decide to stay in the village and make the best of it. One night, however, everything changes. As Leah and Mark are sleeping in their hut, they are awoken by the sound of screams in the forest. At first, they think that it's just the wind, but then the screams get louder and more intense. Suddenly, they hear a loud crash and the sound of heavy footsteps near their hut. Mark and Leah grab their machetes and go outside to investigate. But whatever was making the noise has vanished by the time they get outside. The next morning, Mark and Leah go to the village to try to find someone who knows what was in the forest last night. But the villagers are unforthcoming, and they continue to spread rumors about Leah and Mark. Mark and Leah decide to leave the village and go back to their city life. But as they are packing up their things, Leah hears a voice in the forest that says her name. At first, she thinks that she's just imagining things, but then the voice speaks again, this time telling Leah to stay away from the trees. Curious and a little scared, Leah decides to follow the voice. She goes to the edge of the forest and calls out into the trees. The voice tells her to come closer, and she does. As she steps into the forest, the trees seem to close in around her, and the light begins to fade. Leah feels like she's being watched, and she soon comes to a clearing. In the middle of the clearing is a tree with a strange symbol carved into it. And as Leah looks up at the tree, she sees a figure sitting in its branches. The figure is a woman with long, flowing hair. And as Leah looks at her, she realizes that she's seen this woman before. This is the woman who died last week. The woman's name was Sam, and she was one of the villagers. She had been found dead in the forest, and the villagers believed that she had been killed by a wild animal. Sam tells Leah that she wasn't killed by a wild animal, but by her own hand. She had taken her own life because she couldn't bear to live in the village any longer. Sam then tells Leah that she must warn the other villagers about the trees. The trees are evil, and they're drawing power from the villagers' fear. The only way to stop the trees is to destroy the symbol carved into the tree. Leah tries to warn the other villagers, but they don't believe her. They think that she's crazy, and they continue to do as the trees tell them. Soon, more and more villagers are disappearing into the forest, and the trees become more powerful. Leah and Mark, along with a few other villagers, decide to fight back. They gather their weapons and march into the forest to destroy the symbol. They find the tree with the symbol and they begin to hack at it with their machetes. But as they do, the trees begin to attack them. Vines and roots shoot out of the ground and try to bind the villagers' legs. Branches whip through the air and smash into the villagers' heads. But the villagers fight back, and eventually they are able to destroy the symbol. As the last bit of the symbol is destroyed, the trees go silent. The villagers are victorious, but they soon realize that they have lost many good people to the trees. They vow to never forget those who have been lost, and to always be on guard against the trees. The film ends with a close-up of Leah's face. She's looking out at the forest with a haunted expression. The voice of the trees can still be heard whispering to her, even though she has destroyed the symbol. Leah is unsure of what the future holds for her and the other villagers. She knows that the trees are still out there and that they will always be a threat. So if you ever find yourself in a dense forest with tall ancient trees, be careful. You never know what might be hiding in the shadows. And if you hear a voice calling to you from the trees, don't answer. Just run. Because sometimes the voices in the trees are not of this world. What did you think of the movie? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more great content. Thanks for watching.